Hey guys, Frightener22 here, and welcome back to another DVD collection video. This time I'm going to be showcasing all the C's in my collection. It's hot as shit in my room, and there's an air conditioner blasting, so I hope it's not too distracting from the audio. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get right into this. This is obviously going to be in multiple parts because I have a shit ton of C's. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Whee! The first one I have is Caddyshack. This DVD is actually it may be out of print already, but I know it was going out of print. That's why I snatched it up, because it was like $5 because they're trying to push Blu-ray. They are taking a bunch of the DVDs off the shelves, like Caddyshack, and I believe The Exorcist was in that group too, because they're prepping them for Blu-ray release. So in order to push the higher quality and the more expensive thing. So I figured I know that Caddyshack's funny, but it's nothing that I am going to upgrade to Blu-ray or anything, so I figured I'd get it on DVD when it was at its cheapest. So, I have it in the collection now, which is, still cool. The next one I have is the 10-year reunion edition of Can't Hardly Wait. This is a great film from the late 90s, one of the better teen movies from the late 90s. Cool cast: Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ethan Embry, Peter Facinelli, Seth Green. It's just a really, really fun time, and there's all these special features on here that I've been meaning to watch, but I keep forgetting, and I just haven't had the time, so I hope to check them out in a while. But this is a great film. Absolutely check that one out. Next three are from a series, and the first one is a special edition of Candyman from 1992. Tony Todd plays Candyman. One of the best things to come from the imagination of Clive Barker. And, just a phenomenal film. Really, really great. Really, really great urban horror film. Check that one out. Like I said, I have the whole collection, so I have the second one, Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. This was the sequel. Really cool. This one's a lot of fun. This was actually directed by Bill Condon, who would go on to direct such films as Gods and Monsters, Kinsey, Dreamgirls, and most recently, he's going to be directing the latest installment of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn. Yay. Although I feel like that's a step back career-wise. Then again, what the fuck do I know? Next one I get is the final part of the Candyman series, Candyman 3, Day of the Dead. And this actually stars Donna D'Errico. And I remember watching this years ago, but I didn't realize until I became such a Motley Crue fan that this is actually Nikki Sixx's ex-wife, the bassist of Motley Crue, and they have children together and stuff. So it's kind of cool how years later I would kind of connect her in a different way. But I remember enjoying this one quite a lot. And this actually has Nick Corey in it too, aka Jesse Garcia, who played Rod Lane in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. So, all the more reason to go ahead and scoop this one out. This is it's a cool installment. The next one I got for $5 at Target. Saw this in our, DVD update not too long ago. The 25th anniversary limited edition of the Care Bears movie. I watched this. This is just, cool, 80s nostalgia, and I just, consume, and absorb everything 1980s, so, how do you call yourself an 80s fan without having little Care Bears in your life? I watched this, and I mean, it really isn't as, it's silly, being a 22-year-old watching the Care Bears movie, but, whatever, I mean, it is what it is. It's a product of its time. It's, it's cool. I got this at Big Lots before it closed down near me, and I was really happy to find it because I never had seen it in stores until I saw it at Big Lots. So this was a pretty big score for me, but for $3 I got Carpool. I remember liking this a lot back when I was a kid. This stars Tom Arnold, and this is just cool. I mean, shitty snap case and all, but what do you expect from Big Lots? And I'm sure that they never had this movie released in a keep case of any sort. But this was cool. This was just a cool. Rarity from my childhood to find at Big Lots for, that cheap price, so that was fun. The next one I got is the 1976 classic special edition of Carrie, one of the, best Stephen King adaptations out there, and I'm sure one day down the line I'll probably review this classic film for Saturday Night Movie Drive, and it's great. De Palma did a really great job, and early role for John Travolta, actually. The next one I got is what many people claim is one of Scorsese's classic films. I bought this. I actually did a blind buy on this, a few years ago, I guess, and I just have so many other Scorsese films that I like over this, so I'm sure I'm going to get shit for not, praising this movie for all of its greatness. but it's the anniversary edition of Casino. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's great performances in it, but, I would definitely pick Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, The Departed, The Aviator, all over Casino. I mean, I think it's time for me to revisit this. I did catch this on TV. I walked in the middle of it on TV a few weeks ago, and I was actually getting into it a little bit at that time, so maybe I just need to sit down now and revisit it, but I just wasn't really too, blown over by this, and, I know Scorsese's great, I love his work, but this one just didn't really hit me the way that, I guess it was intended to. The next one is a film that I actually reviewed during my 31 Frightening Days of Halloween marathon, and it's the 1995 movie adaptation of Casper. This is cool. It stars Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci, and this is fun. This is just a great, family film. I would definitely check this one out. It's always pretty cheap. Next one is from Grindhouse Releasing, and it's the Fulci film, The Cat in the Brain. This was cool. I had never seen this. I did a blind buy on it with its lenticular cover and all, and this was cool, actually. Really, really cool. Italian horror flick, directed by Fulci and actually starring Fulci as himself in it. So it's really cool to see this. So this was a pleasant surprise. This is a really interesting flick. Next one, I did a blind buy of this at Big Lots because it came in a 2-pack of An American Werewolf in London, and it is Cat People, starring Malcolm McDowell. I have yet to actually watch this. I understand that this is actually a remake of a film, but I've never actually gotten around to watching this, although I would like to. I mean, it's directed by Paul Schrader, and he was responsible for directing American Gigolo, as well as, helping Scorsese. He wrote the screenplay for Taxi Driver, so, he's got a really interesting background of work behind him, and the Cat People I would like to get around to seeing sooner rather than later. Although I've had it on my fucking shelf for years, so whatever. Next one I got, really cool and incredibly underrated Stephen King adaptation, which I definitely absolutely want to review one day for Saturday Night Movie Drive, and that's Stephen King's Cat's Eye. This is like an anthology-type film in the vein of, like, Creepshow and stuff, and this is great. Really cool cast, Drew Barrymore, James Woods, and it's actually directed by Louis Togg, who directed Alligator and also the other Stephen King adaptation, Cujo. You notice there's like a trend in the 3 films that I just named. This guy directed a movie called Alligator, and then a movie called Cat's Eye, and then a movie called Cujo, which is the name of the dog in the movie. So there's kind of a trend with this guy directing films that deal with animals, but who knows and who really cares, because he did a great fucking job on all 3 of those films, and this was definitely one to catch. This movie is always ridiculously cheap all over the place. It's always normally like $5-7, and it's absolutely worth that. I mean, yes, again, it comes with a shitty keep case, or a snapper case, but this actually comes with a full-length commentary from the director, which I have yet to listen to, but this film is really, really great. The next one that I got was the 2-disc deluxe edition of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. People shit on this movie, but I really did enjoy it. It's, this book is actually my favorite book of all time. I've read it, probably 15, 16 times ever since I was a kid. And it is actually a more faithful adaptation than the 1971 Gene Wilder version. But obviously the Gene Wilder version is special in its own ways, but this film is definitely not one to shit on. It is enjoyable, and it is a very faithful adaptation overall. Getting down to the wire, so I'm going to try and squeeze a few more in. The next one is an 80s horror flick, Cheerleader Camp. This is a fun one, really cheesy, cool gore though, and just, great, at a cheerleading camp and killers on the loose. What more do you want? Next one I got is the early DVD release of a 1988 classic horror film, Child's Play, directed by Tom Holland, who also was responsible for 1985's Fright Night. This is just, really a solid horror flick. So much of a solid horror flick that once the Chucky's 20th birthday edition came out, I had to get it because the special features on this and the transfer was great. This is the first time that it was actually released in the proper aspect ratio, I believe, and the special features kick ass. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap up part 1 of my DVD collection, The C, so tune in to part 2 for the remaining C's to my collection. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Frightener22.